Hello everyone. Let's read verse number 6 of chapter 45 of the Quran together. It says, "These are the verses of Allah which we recite to you." Ayatullah. It means verses of Allah that we are reciting to you. And then right after that says, فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ. It means in what hadith, in what saying, بعد الله و آیاته یؤمنون. It means after Allah and his verses will they believe. So it couldn't be any clearer than this. It says these are the verses of Allah which we are reciting to you. And now after these verses of Allah that are in his books, in what saying or in what hadith, it doesn't matter who that hadith, that saying is from. It could be from Moses, Prophet Moses, it could be from Prophet Muhammad. It doesn't matter. It says after Allah and his verses that are in the book, in what saying, is asking a question. Is a rhetorical question. It says in what saying, in what hadith after Allah and his verses will you believe? This is really important. If you understand this verse, you understand a lot. So when you read the Quran, you have to read it with a mindset to ponder, to wonder, to digest, to learn new things. And then right after that, it says, وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ أَفَّاكٍ أَثِيمٍ. It says, woe to every sinful liar. So what is this talking to? It's talking about, is referring, Afak and Athim is referring to the hadith, to the sayings. So it's not referring obviously to the verses of Allah. It's not referring to that, right? So we can actually cross that out. It's referring to these sayings and hadiths that we talked about. But let's make sure. Let's read the next verse together and we can make sure. It says, Yasma'u. It means that they hear ayat Allah, the verses of Allah. Remember, we had the verses of Allah up here as well. I'm going to draw an arrow so you can see. So it was up here, it's down here as well. So they hear the verses of Allah recited to them, thumma, then yusirru mustakbiran. It means they persist. They persist arrogantly. They persist arrogantly on what? On these sayings, on these hadiths. So this Afak and Asim is referring to these people who are persisting arrogantly on what? On believing in these sayings, believing in these hadiths. They, as if they never heard the verses of Allah. So you read to them the verses of Allah, but they arrogantly persist on believing on these lies. What are these lies? These lies are the sayings, are the hadiths, are the hearsay or statements from other people. Then what does Allah say? It says, فَبَشِّرْهُ, and give them the glad tidings, the glad news of a painful punishment in the hereafter. Who is it talking about? He's talking about Afak and Athim, every sinful liar. Why are they sinful liars? Because they're going around spreading lies. So the person who initiated these lies, these sayings, these hadiths, 1200 years ago, whatever it was, and those who go after them, lying and spreading, propagating these lies, these sayings, these hadiths, these are Afak and Asim. It means sinful liars. And Allah says, woe to these sinful liars. Why? Because they hear the verses of Allah, they don't believe in it, they persist arrogantly on spreading these lies as if they never heard the verses of Allah. But then it gets even worse. It says, وَإِذَا عَلِمَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا شَيْئًا. It says, when they know anything of our verses, they learn something of our verses, when you tell them our verses, when you tell them, hey, this is what the Quran says, that you should only and only follow the verses of Allah, and you should not associate anyone or anything, including the sayings that are from someone else other than Allah, with Allah and His verses, with Yahweh, our Creator, and His verses, then what do? They make fun of you. They ridicule you. They pretend as if you are a disbeliever, as if you have disbelieved in Allah and His verses. They make fun of you. And you can go actually check this out in YouTube, in various channels, that how they talk about the people who only believe in Allah and His verses, and they make fun of them if because they don't believe in the Hadith. They say you don't know the Hadith, you don't believe in the Hadith. Because of that, how do you know how to use the restroom? How do you know how to wash your face? How do you know how to walk? How do you know how to talk? Because all of the instructions to do these things according to these people are in the Hadith. Unfortunately, this is the mindset of these people. And then what does Allah tell you about these people? It says, أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. He said, those, for them, there is a humiliating punishment in the hereafter. مِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ جَهَنَّمْ. It means before them there is hell. وَلَا يُغْنِي عَنْهُمْ مَا كَثَبُوا شَيْئًا. And what they have earned will not avail them at anything, nor what they have taken besides their Creator, besides Allah, as their allies, as their friends. And obviously, as you know, what has happened is that these people believe in their scholars, or those people who initiated that chain of hadith, or whatever it is. I'm not going to go into technical discussions, but they consider these people as their friends, as great in faith, so that they have to believe in them. But technically, they have taken they have taken these people that they quote in the hadith, and it could be the prophet, it doesn't matter. It could be maybe a very famous person, a scholar or a disciple of the prophet, as their allies and as the people whom they associate besides Allah and His verses. So remember, these sayings are not by these people. These sayings, God knows who wrote them 200, 300 years after the Prophet. And now they claim that these sayings, these hadiths, these statements, this hearsay, he said, she says, are accurate, and they have actually attributed them to those people, and they follow them. Whereas the Quran does not give any permission to anyone to do that. Bible is the same. It does not give you any permission to do any of these. And then at the end, the verse says, هَذَا هُدًى. This is the guidance. Not your hadith. Not your sayings. Not your statements. Not the he said, she said that you follow. It says, this is the guidance. هَذَا هُدًى. This. What is this? This is this book. This is the verses of Allah that we talked about. This is the guidance, not those things that you associate with Allah and His words, not those things that you attribute to those people that you have taken as your allies, as your awliya, besides your Creator, besides Yahweh. This is the guidance. You have to remember, this is the guidance. The book of Allah, those things, those sayings, those hearsay, those he said, she said, you should not believe in those. You should not follow them. And those who have disbelieved in what? In the verses of Allah, in the guidance, they will have a painful punishment from their Lord awaiting for them. Peace and blessings to all of you.